Hello again, my friends. This is Linux Tech Life. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to share something exciting with you that I've recently discovered. I'm not exactly sure when this happened. I just discovered it today. And I use Debian testing. And I noticed that it is Plasma 6, which is kind of a big deal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to upgrade from stable, which is currently Bookworm or Debian 12, to testing, which is what will become Debian 13. We need to understand a couple things. One, you always want to back up your data before you get started. And two, testing is exactly that. It is the testing branch. So do not expect it to be as polished or as stable as the stable branch is. Personally, I've been using Debian for a very long time and have had very little problems. That's not to say I've had no problems. I'm just saying I've had little problems. I've never had like any major crashes or anything like that, and I've been using testing for quite some time. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. This is Bookworm 12 stable, and I'm going to teach you how to, one, upgrade to testing from stable without reinstalling. Two, which is going to give you Plasma 6, which is going to be 6.2.4. And then three, at the end of the video, I will show you how you can download testing directly without having to install stable first. So let's go ahead and get started here. Just got to put my password in. Let this load. All right. First thing I want to do though is let's turn the screensaver off so this doesn't try to go to sleep on me while we're in the middle of this. Workspace behavior, yeah, and then screen locking. They moved all this around in 6, so I'm a little rusty at where things were at in 5. All right. I can spend an entire month going over all of these settings that's in here. KDE is like a tweaker's dream. You can tweak and change and configure anything and everything to your heart is content with KDE. I'm not going to go through all of these menus for you, at least not in one video and not today, unfortunately. So anyway, all I did was disable the screen locking and disabled the screensaver or the power settings. I don't want that menu. I want to change the menus here to this menu. There we go. So if I open up Info Center here, we can see we're currently on version 5.27.5, and we're currently on kernel version 6.1, which is what Debian stable is supposed to be at. There are a couple different reasons why you might want to do testing, or why you might need to do testing. Is one, because if you have a newer Intel card, like say the A750, the A770, which uses a different Intel chipset, that chipset instruction is not in this kernel. You have to get a newer kernel in order for that to be seen. Even though Intel is perfectly and completely supported by Linux, it's built in. It's just that it's a newer card, so it needs newer drivers, and Debian does not have those, at least not in stable. They are in testing. Awesome. So let's go ahead and go to console. I'm going to minimize, I'm going to get rid of this top bar here. That way it's not taking up so much real estate. Just my mouse click. Happens when you get old. Okay. Actually, let's see if we can pump this. I guess we'll create a new one real quick. Default. And let's pump that font up a little bit so we can see. Here we go. All right, so the first thing we want to do out of the box is you always want to do a sudo apt update. Refreshes the repositories and looks for any packages that need to be installed. Currently, we don't have any, However, if you did, you'd also want to do an upgrade here and then reboot. So what we're going to do next is we're going to nano the etc apt sources file. And let's declutter this a little bit. I'm going to do a Control K and get rid of these comments here. All right, so I'm going to go back up here to the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit W and then R. And what that's going to do is search and replace. And what we're going to look for is bookworm. And we're going to replace that with Trixie. And then I'm going to hit A for all instances so it replaces all 6. Now, let's talk about some of these names here. Bookworm, Trixie, these are going to be the release names. They're not the development names. The development names are old stable, stable, testing, and SID. So if you want to stay on stable, and I'll put that in quotes, whatever stable is at the time, currently it is bookworm. After Trixie is released, Trixie will become stable. It will line up with that keyword. And then whatever is next will become testing. So if you want to stay on stable, even after Trixie is released, you would put stable in here instead of bookworm. If you want to stay on testing, even after Trixie is released, then you would put testing in there instead of Trixie. Hopefully that's not too confusing. Let me know in the comment section below if that confused you, and I will make another video at some point in the future and explain that a little bit further. But for now, we're going to go ahead and Control X, Y, because we want to save the buffer, and then enter. Now we have to do another sudo apt update. What that's going to do is it's going to pull in the new repo files. (1,530 packages ready to upgrade. So we have to do a sudo apt full -upgrade. When we hit enter, it's going to tell us it's going to download 1.7 gigs and it needs 1.4 gigs of additional space. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter for yes, and this is going to take a while, so I am going to go ahead and pause the video. See you in a minute. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and sudo reboot. Put in our password. And when we come back, we will be on Debian testing. Completely different kernel. Stable uses current stable uses 6.1. This is using 6.12. Let's go ahead and get logged in here and check it out. Okay, so if we go ahead and go straight into here, this is what I was talking about. Some of these have changed around a lot. This is a little bit more to what I'm used to. I've been using Plasma 6 since it came out. Debian is not the only distribution I use. I also use Fedora quite a bit, and the current version is 41. The version 40, which is the one that came before 41, obviously, it even had Plasma 6. So I've been using Plasma 6 for quite some time. So here's your screen locking in here, and we can go ahead and set that to never. And then power management, yes, going to apply power management. We want to make sure this one here says do nothing, and we can go ahead and turn that off, and we should be good there. Okay. So like I said, I'm not going to go through any of these, at least not right now. Maybe I'll make another video on it. But I am going to go back to about the system and show you that we are currently on Plasma 6.2.4 on kernel 6.12 as opposed to 6.1. This kernel will support the new NVIDIA or the new Intel chipset. Sorry, that I was talking about. This does still say Debian 12, but again, this is the testing branch. Once this is actually released, that will say 13, just like it's supposed to. This is used as your own risk. Again, it is a testing branch. It's not stable. It has not been released yet. So buyer beware. That's all I got to say about that. However, I can say with a fair amount of confidence that in my 25 years of using Debian, I'm confident in saying that in most cases, the testing branch of Debian is more stable than other distributions' stable branch. Just because it's testing doesn't mean it's broken. However, it does come with a caveat. It's still testing, so if something does break, it's on you because you're using testing and not stable. Also, if you find something that's broken, help out the development team and make sure you go ahead and submit a bug report. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video here. And in the comment section, if you don't mind, tell me about your experience. Have you used Plasma 6 before? On what distribution have you used it on? Are you excited about Plasma 6 coming to Debian? Anyway, if you want to see any other kind of videos, go ahead and give me a shout out in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next one.